Hey guys, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how the SUBSTRING method works internally in Java. So if you talk about this SUBSTRING method internal implementation, this is one of the most important questions for the interview room. And obviously, if you have few years of experience in Java, this is definitely a question that you need to prepare for. So if you talk about Java 6, we had memory leak problem. And in Java 7, that problem got fixed. So there is a slight modification as done to the source code of SUBSTRING method in Java 7. So that's make it so special. So if we never seen the source code before, we cannot answer this question that how it works internally and what are the problems that we used to have in Java 6, right? So don't worry, we're going to cover it in depth here in this tutorial. And before we go further guys, I just want to tell you that please watch this tutorial till end so that you can get 100% whatever I'm saying. And still if you'll have any doubt, then feel free to reach me out because I'm here to help and I love to help. Let's get started. So now let's start talking about the internal implementation of SUBSTRING method. So why this SUBSTRING method is pretty much important in interview perspective because of its internal implementation. So if we talk about the Java 6, with SUBSTRING method we had memory leak issue, okay, and this particular issue got fixed in Java 7 and in the later versions of Java. So to make you understand about this memory leak issue, I have to use a JDK 6 with my machine. So with my computer, the computer that I'm using right now, I do not have JDK 6 installed here. So I'm going to go back to my one of my other computer and I'm going to start demonstrating you from there. And once we're done with that, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to explain you how this particular issue got fixed in Java 7 or in later versions of Java. Okay, so now let's go back to Java 6 to understand this particular issue. Alright guys, so right now I'm in my Eclipse and here I'm going to take a string called str and I'm going to take a large string here. Let's say, hey, I am learning Java SUBSTRING method internal implementation. Okay, so I'm just kind of taking a large string here and right now I need a substring of this string str. So I need a substring and let's say I want to page this this thing, okay, this word here m. So how can I do it? I'm going to start counting from the first index 0 1 2 3 4 5. Then I need to start from the sixth index 6 7 and I have to take one more 8. Okay, so 6 and 8. So let's go for 6 and 8 here and right now let me store it with a different string str1 is equal to, and finally I'm just going to print this out. So I'll just write a sys out here and str1, right? So if I will run it, okay, let me minimize this. Okay, so let me run this application and let me run it as a Java application and there you go, I'm getting my expected output. No worries with that. But right now let's do a research on it. I mean, let's put a breakpoint here in the line number 7 and let's see what's going on internally, right? And let me debug this. Okay, I'll say yes and okay, so I got my full debug screen here. Okay, and my control is on line number 7 just to mark. Okay, so first of all let me execute this line number 7 here by pressing step over and I'm done. Okay, it's kind of a last string here. I'm learning Java SUBSTRING method internal implementation. Okay, great. So if I'll expand this str, I can see I have a value, I have a char array called value. So this is actually a field. Okay, this is actually a variable inside the string class. We're going to talk about it in a bit. And if I'll expand this value array here, I can see all these things are getting stored in buckets. I mean in indexes, right? Okay, so there we go. Okay, so that's the thing. This is just in char array. All the string characters are getting represented with a char array which name is value, right? Okay, so now let me do one work. So if I will do a step over again, so my substring method got executed, and this str got created, and I'm getting my desired substring, which is m. So no rocket science here. But as of now, you are fine, right? But if I will expand right now, so what you are expecting this value array is holding? Well, if you're following me from the first slide, it will not be very difficult for you to guess what my value array is holding, right? So this is my substring is m, so my value should contain two indexes, which is a and m, right? So if I will expand this value array, you will see something that you will not expect, right? So you are going to see here that this value array is actually containing the entire string here. Check this out, it is just containing the entire string characters, right? This character array is containing all the characters here of my original string, right? So do you see the problem here? Rather than containing only two characters, it is containing the entire string character, right? So this is actually a memory leak, right? So why is that? So just think like this str1 value array is actually referencing to the original string value array. So just think like if in the later part of my application I only need str1, which is the substring of str, and I don't need this str because this is just a larger string. Just think like if it is having around if it is taking 2 GB of memory and I want to free this object for garbage collection, but it will not happen as this str1 is still referencing to the str value array, right? So that's why this str will not be able to garbage collected because of the str1 reference, right? So this is kind of a memory leak that we used to have in Java 6, right? So now let's understand why this particular problem arisen. Okay, so before we get into that, you might be thinking, okay, if we are having such a big value array here, how I'm getting my expected output, which is m? So that's because of this count and offset. So here you can see the offset and count is different. If we see this str offset and count, this is different. The count of the str is 53 and the offset of the str is 0. But if we see over here in this str, the count is 2 and the offset is 6. So what it is basically saying that from this original value array, you start counting from the offset 6 and count up to 2 indexes, which is m, right? Which is this particular string here, m, right? So that's how Java is fetching my substring for me, but internally it is storing the same value array that str has. So now let's check out what is wrong with this particular substring method and why the value array or the char array of the substring method is actually storing the entire string rather than storing the part of the string. Okay, so let's dig into that right now. Alright guys, so now let me go out of this debug mode. So I'm going to click here, and well, right now I want to go into this substring method and want to see what is actually happening internally, right? So I'm going to open the declaration for this substring method. So this is actually the source code for our substring method, and now let's check out what is going wrong over here. Okay, so if we can see over here, first few statements here are just for your exception checking, right? So we have covered it in the first tutorial that if the begin index is less than 0, or if the end index is greater than the count, or the begin index is greater than the end index, you are going to get string index out of bound exception, right? So we have covered it very clearly in the first slide. Okay, so now let me focus over here in this piece of code. So this is actually one line of code, and they are using a ternary operator here, and this operator used pretty much in the real-time application. So what they are saying here, so this is the condition when the begin index is 0 and the end index is equal to count, that means the user is actually asking for the original string, then return him the current string or the original string, and this tends to the current object of a class, right? So if this condition is true, then return the user the current object, don't create a new string, and if this particular condition is false, then create a new string. Okay, then create a new string
passing offset. So the offset basically tends to that particular index from where we want to start fetching our substring, okay, and the result of this is going to be the count. That means up to what index that you are going to start fetching the string, and finally you are passing the value. So this is the important thing to notice over here, okay. So whenever we are passing the value, so this value is actually an char array, right? I already told you that. So this is actually a char array. This is actually a field here called value. This is of char array type. So here we are passing the value. That means we are passing the current string. That means we are passing the original string char array which holds all the characters of the string, right? So we are passing value over here as well. So if we go here into the string constructor, so this is actually a constructor, right? So if I'll go into this, we can see what they are doing over here. So basically they are creating a new string which is going to be our substring by using the offset, by using the count, and by using the value array, which is the original string char array, right? Okay, so now let's see over here. And if you see here, this is actually the line which is causing all the problem, right? So what they are doing here, they are setting off the value by using this particular value. So this value is actually this one. So this is actually the original string char array, right? So we are actually creating a new substring by using the old string char array, which is actually causing the memory leak problem, right? So we are not creating any kind of new char array over here for our substring. Rather, we are still using the old char array of the original string here, right? And this is causing the memory leak problem. And apart from that, we are actually changing the offset and count while creating our new string for our substring, which will be useful to fetch the substring from the original value array. Okay, so the problem that we understood from this entire explanation is that we are not actually creating any kind of new char array for our substring, right? Rather, we are using the same value array of the original string, which is actually causing the memory leak issue in Java 6. So now let's check out how this particular issue got fixed in later versions of Java in Java 7. So actually I'm going to use my Java 8 to explain that how this particular memory leak issue got fixed in later versions of Java. So actually they are using a new constructor there to fix this memory leak problem. Alright, so now let's check that out, and now let's go back to our Java 8. Alright guys, so now let's test this same program in Java 8. Alright, so if you can see over here, I've written the same program here, and the difference will be I'll be running this particular program in Java 8. Okay, so I'm going to give a breakpoint here in line number 7. Okay, and this time let me first run this particular application. So no difference here. I'm getting M as an output, right? I'm passing 6 and 8 here, and I've written the same string right over here, the same one that I've taken in the last example. And now let me debug it, and I'll say yes. Okay, so I'll do a step over. I want to execute the line number 7. The str got created. So this particular value array, you can see, is just holding the entire characters of my original string right now. And if I'll do a step over again, so right now you can see str1 got created, and obviously it is giving back M to me because this is what I have instructed this particular line to do. But the main important thing is if I'll expand this str1, I got the value array, and if you can see, this is just storing your need. This is just storing your substring. This is not storing the entire string here, right? So whatever we need, the part we need from the original string, only that part
it is storing here, right? So one more thing that you can notice over here in this str1 or in str, right now the current version of string is not using the count and offset over here, as it is creating a new array here, right? Okay, so what I mean by that, so to make you understand this, I'm going to go into my substring method here. So I will open the declaration of this substring method, and there we go. This is my source code for my substring method, and yes, everything is same. This is just checking for the exception first, then it is actually counting the length of the particular substring. In this case, it is calculating the length. In Java 6 it used to be count, the same way it is just doing end index minus begin index to calculate the substring length, and then it's checking if the substring length is less than 0, then it is throwing the string index out of bound exception. Alright, for an example, if your begin index will be greater than the end index, then end index minus begin index result will come as negative. So in that case it will check if that result is less than 0, it is going to throw you the string index out of bound exception, but don't worry about it. Okay, so the most important thing that we need to talk about over here is this piece of code. The same thing over here, but only the thing we can see over here is it is using a different string constructor. Okay, so the same thing, if the begin index is 0 and the end index is value.length, then the user is asking for the original string. So don't create a new string, give back the current string class object, and if this condition is false, then create a new string here by executing this particular constructor, right? So what I'm passing over here, the value array, the original value array, I mean the original string value array, okay, then the begin index and the sub length. Okay, so this is exactly same as the count. Okay, so if I'll go into this constructor right now, if I'll go to its declaration, now we can see, first of all, again is checking for some of the exception, and we actually don't care for this, but the line that we are interested for is this one, how it is creating the new string by using a new char array for our substring that we are going to see over here. As we have already understood, it is we are getting our value array over here. This is the char array for our original string, and from this string we need to fetch our substring, and for this we are using arrays.copy of range method, and in this method we are passing the value, the offset, and the offset plus count. So this is actually creating a new char array for you guys, and this char array right now we are setting it to our value array. So we are not using our old char array or the existing char array, rather we are creating a new char array for our substring, and then we are setting this char array to this dot value, right? So as I said, this value is actually the char array, right? So this is what happening internally. So that's why whenever we are requesting for a substring right over here, this str1 is only storing m here, right? So m we have requested for, so the value is only storing m. It's not storing the entire string here, it's only storing the part of the string. And that's how the memory leak problem got fixed in the later versions of Java. Actually, it's got fixed in Java 7, and I'm here using Java 8, so it's not a problem. In Java 7 also have the same substring method as Java 8. Okay, so this is the entire story. So right now, if you see in your application, this particular string is taking too much of memory, so you can free this memory up by doing a garbage collection to this particular string str, right? Because this str1 right now not at all referencing to the str char array, because it does have its own char array, right? It does have its own value array, as we have seen over here, right? Okay, so there you go. So that's actually the thing that I want to tell you right over here. So right now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to draw a diagram that whatever we understood from here about the Java 6 and Java 7 implementation of substring method. I'm going to do some diagram here in my whiteboard so that you can get the clarity, and after that we can wrap up this session. All right, but if you already understood whatever I said, no need to watch that. You guys can go and enjoy, right? Okay, so now I want to take you to my whiteboard. Alright guys, so before we wrap up, let me give you a broad overview over here, right? So let me say I have a string here, string is equal to, let's say some string, let's say a, b, c, d, e, f, g, and there you go. And let's say I want to have a substring, so s dot substring here, and let's say I'll say 2 and 5. Okay, so from the second index 0, 1, 2, from C I want to count up to the 5th index. C is my second index. Okay, second, third, fourth and 5th, it will not take up to 5th, it will take up to E, right? So my answer will be C, D, E, right? So this, let's say if I'll do string str1, this str1 will have the answer C, D, E, right? So if we talk about Java 6, how these things has been represented in the memory, let's talk about it. Let's say all the objects are getting created in heap, right? Let's say this is your heap area. Okay, so first we are creating the string object. So whenever we are creating a string object, we have value array, right? And it has a offset. In Java 6 we used to have offset, right? We have seen that, and a count, right? Let's not talk about the offset and count here, but let's talk about the value array. So in the value array, we used to have a value array here. Let's say what is my string, a, b, c, d, e, f, g. So let's say a, b, c, d, e, f, g, and let me quickly draw it for you guys. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so right now what we'll do, okay, so now this value array is going to point to this particular array, right? So arrays are also objects in Java, so they will be there in the heap only. Okay, so whenever we are calculating the substring, okay, so substring will again create a new object here. So this is a new object right now. Again, this object will have a value array, will have a different offset, because whenever we are creating the substring object in Java 6, we have seen we will have a different offset and will have a different count. But this value array is going to be referred to the same value array which belongs to this object, right? So this object is belongs to S, and this str1 is referencing to this object, but the str1 value array is still referring to the array which is created by this particular object S, right? So now the problem is, let's say if this is a pretty big array, right? Let's talk about let's say that this array is taking 2 GB of memory, right? So if I want to, in my later part of my application, let's say if I don't need this particular array, right? I want to garbage collect, I want to make this object ready for garbage collection. Then what will happen? If I wanted to do also, I cannot do it, because this particular object is still referencing to this particular array which belongs to this object, right? So definitely this is a memory leak, because for this object I only wanted this as a result, CDE, but here I am referencing to this particular array, and using the offset which is 2 and count which is 5, I am calculating some part of this string. Let's say offset is 2, so it is going to count it from here, and it will go up to the count. So count is what? So count is end index minus begin index. 5 minus 2 is 3, so it will count up to 3. So count will be 3. From 2 it will count up to 3. 2, 3, 4. So this is going to be the result, C, D, E, right? So this is the one. So this is how it was happening in Java 6, and that's what the memory leak problem that we understood. But if you talk about in Java 7 and in later versions of Java, what was happening? This value array is not at all referencing to the original array here. Rather, it is just creating a new array with desired substring. So here, so there will be no offset and count in Java 7 and in Java 8
that we have already seen in Java 8 will not have any offset and count. So here in Java 8 it is going to create a new array here by using this particular value array. So here we need CDE. It is going to create a new array called CDE, and this value array is going to refer to this particular array, right? So right now if I want to free up this particular object, it is ready for garbage collection because this particular value array right now have its own char array here. It is not at all referencing to this particular array right now, right? So this is what happening in Java 7 and in later versions of Java. I mean in Java 8 also. We have experienced it in Java 8 because I don't have a Java 7 installed in my computer. Alright, so that's it guys. So this is what I want to discuss over here. So hopefully it give you a fundamental how the substring method works internally. But still, if you have any doubt, any question, any query, please feel free to reach out to me, or you can drop a comment below and I'll definitely assist to you regarding that. Thank you very much guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you really like this tutorial. So I'll see you in the next time. I'll see you in the next video. If you have any suggestion also, please feel free to post that out in the comment section. Thank you very much guys for watching this tutorial. Hopefully you'll have a wonderful day. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Good night, because it's night here. Bye bye.